This is a 1961 Ford F100 short bed. We're going to take it for a quick little drive and show you around the truck. I think she's still a little cold, so. It's got a Chevy running gear in it with a built 350 and a 350 turbo transmission. It's a little cold-natured, as most of these old vehicles are, and so
headers, overhead cams.
Yeah, it's got a. We'll take a look under the hood in a minute. Yeah, it's a nicely built little engine. It's got a high-rise intake, headers, overhead cam. Just a really beefy. Actually, once this thing's warmed up, you don't even have to try, and it'll get on first gear and chirp second. Transmission shift's great. It's got a little mild shift kit in it. The truck drives really good for an around town driver. It's got all the gearing and power and transmission to drive faster on the freeway, but the front end probably needs to be rebuilt. Around town, you don't notice it, but getting up to higher speeds, you feel that, that old truck steering and, a little squirreliness to it that is just typical for an old truck with an original front end on it. It's still cold.
Yeah, it's starting to heat up, yeah.
Oil pressure gauge works. Speedometer does not work. I think the fuel gauge does work. No, fuel gauge doesn't work. So some of the gauges could still stand to be hooked up. We're just taking a little cruise around the neighborhood, and we'll pull over here in just a second. We'll go down to the cul-de-sac, turn around, and stop like right here in front of this drain. Yeah. I'm typically into the older Ford trucks, but we picked this one up because it just is so cool, kind of the story behind it, especially the fact that the truck has never been painted before. This is the original paint job with the original patina on it. It's got power. Just a little bit. That's good right there. Maybe pull up just a hair more. That's good right there. I'm gonna take a walk around.
Can we stay in?
Yeah, you can get out. Either way, leave it running for a minute. Got a great sounding exhaust. Hey, give it a little rev up. Give it a little rev up. Pop this hood for me. I may be able to do it myself. I'll let you pop it. I think I did the primary. Should have two. Yeah, there it is. Secondary. So Edelbrock, which is nice. Electronic ignition, high-rise intake. So shorty headers. You go ahead and turn it off. One of the things that I think is really cool too, the original radiator works great, keeps it cool. The truck runs right at about 180. It's got a 180 thermostat in it, and actually it's pretty cold natured, so it takes a little time to get warmed up. This radiator works great. This is the original brass, the paint taken off the top, and I just think it gives it a really cool look. Goes along with the truck. I love the kind of old school, keeping a lot of the old school look to it. Couple of rust spots. This truck's far from a rust bucket. It's got a little bit of rust here and there on it, but it's kind of what gives it the character. But the typical spot underneath where the battery was, the old battery was, of course, where the new battery is now, is rusted out there. Other than that, the firewall looks great. Really, the only spots of rust on the truck that are worth mentioning are this hood. Does have a little bit of rust across the front. The grill But like I was saying a minute ago, one of the things I love about this truck is the fact that it's never been painted. This is not a fakey patina. This is a real deal, and that's why you kind of don't want to touch it. You think about, I thought about, you know, hey, maybe we ought to repair that hood in the front, or, you know, maybe we ought to take a, you know, touch this thing up back here or whatever. And it's just like, no, we need to leave it, because you know, I've seen guys pay thousands of dollars trying to make a truck look like this. So there's one spot of rust that was in the floor that was taken out here. Replacement floor patch has been put in, and then the interior has actually been rhino liner just to give it a nice consistent look. It's solid. It's you know, there was some surface rust underneath there, but you know, the rhino liner just makes it look really, really nice. You got a nice unmolested dashboard. Paint on the inside looks really good. Original gauge in the center, and then, like I said, the oil pressure, which is new, and then the water temperature, which is also new. Both of those do work. You can see it's starting to creep up there, but we did not run it long enough to get it warmed up. It needs to be warmed up for probably, the last time I drove it, probably took about 15 minutes to get it up. Doors open and close well. The tires are new. They're the old school style bi-supply tires, and like I said, all underneath, all the truck, aside from the engine and the transmission, all the truck is original. I love this tailgate. You can see that it says Ford, and has that antique patina to it, which looks really good too. A couple of rust spots down at the bottom of the fender wells there, a little bit of rust in the bottom of the cab corner. But overall, like I said, this is no rusty bucket. This wasn't a truck with a tree growing up in the center of it. This is a, you know, this is an old truck that's been kept on the road by an old gentleman, and had an engine swap done to it to make it more reliable. Love these wheels. It looks like the hubcaps and the trim rings are brand new. And take a look underneath. It's all original. And like I said, I know the leaf spring bushings could stand to be replaced. It wouldn't take a whole lot to just get it to drive down the road a little bit better, but those are the original shocks, you know, and you can see that they're old. The brakes stop good. The truck steers good, you know, like I said, especially for just an around town rat rod style driver, the truck is great under 60 miles an hour. It's just when you get going fast that you can tell that you'd really want to spend a little bit of money rebuilding the front end. But I think I priced out some parts and labor, and probably looking at a few, just a couple of $100. Looks like there's some tape there. Okay, from a spot that maybe was bondoed from the inside, a little bit of filler there. There's your patch on the floor pan. So, but everything looks nice and clean here. Maybe there was one little hole there. That's what that tape was from. Frame rails are in solid condition. Superficial surface rust. Nothing super important. That's actually an original old school Flowmasters on there. Flowmaster brand name. Even the back of the cab corners are rust free. Got one little rust ball right there and one little spot there, but I mean, they're not all rusted out like a lot of them are. So inside the fender wells, overall clean. I mean, what a cool truck. The thing I love about this truck is really it's ready to go right now. The only thing I would personally do to it, I like having my tunes when I cruise. Superficial rust underneath again, as I said. I'd probably hide a radio in the glove box, put some speakers behind the seat or underneath it, and then I'd just drive this thing. Maybe tinker with it on the weekend. It does have a Ford 9-inch rear end, which is nice. One other spot right here too. Looks like they did that on both sides. That one little filler spot there. Just peeling that tape off. So, yeah. Well, there you have it. I'm going to do a video inspection. And I like to try and be honest, to honestly depict the vehicle. It belongs to a good friend of mine, Don, and he's got the tag on it, and been driving it around a little bit and just enjoying it, but it's ready to go on to the next owner. So I think anytime you can find a truck like this that's ready to go, especially today under $15,000, I've just it's just been amazing to see how high trucks are going right now. They're just going like crazy. So to get into a truck like this in the you know, even under the under $12,000 range, that's this is a great truck. Tires are new, wheels and all that are in great shape, you know, new. And then just the overall look of this truck, this is what people are looking for. And if you're watching this video, you know, I hope you appreciate the truck for what it is. It's really, really cool.